Hello and welcome to our third video showcasing Bloodlines added to Crusader King II in the Holy Fury DLC. This time we'll be looking at the Bloodlines available on the 15th of September 1066, which is the first start date for anyone without the Charlemagne or Old God DLCs. Now, several Bloodlines from the previous start dates have gone extinct by the time of this start date. However, if we are going to have a minute's silence for each one of those, the video would be quite unnecessarily long. So let's just get straight to the Bloodlines that did make it. Starting on the British Isles, in Wales, we have Powys, which is this time ruled by the blood of Vortigern. They are back, they have land, and, well, they're doing their thing in Powys. They don't have anything else, but it's something. They have actual land. They're no longer just unlanded courtiers. Now, if we look at the sibling here, this one is of a different dynasty, and in fact, his father is a different father than the current petty king of Powys. That means he also has a different bloodline, the blood of Caradog. Now, last time, the blood of Caradog was present in Scotland and Wales, but in Wales the situation has reversed somewhat between the different bloodlines, and it's gone completely unlanded. Scotland does still have a landed member of the blood of Caradog, but it's not their finest moment. On the other side of the Irish Sea, in Ireland, we of course have the blood of Niall doing exactly what it did before. If we look at these rulers, we have Tir Eogain, we have Tir Jonal, and we have Kildara, which are exactly the places where they ruled before. This bloodline is really good at holding on to what they have and doing nothing else. A bit further north, back in the Scottish area, we have our petty king of Seljuk, and he still has the blood of Ragnar Lodbrok. Aside from Scotland, where we will also find them, is in Denmark, with various members of the Danish branch of the family. In Sweden, there is Eric the Heathen, the last Germanic ruler of any note. And of course there are some vassals to the Scottish ruler as well. Noteworthy, there is one French guy over in France, where else? And yeah, if we look back at his parentage, we find a bunch of people sitting in France, and eventually we get to the Witserks, who were the brother that ruled over Jorvik. Now Jorvik is back in Anglo-Saxon hands, but somehow they managed to make it to the other side of the English Channel and get some land there. Now that we're in France anyway, let's take a look at the remaining Karling. It's not gone so well for this dynasty. They are only here in the county of Vermandois as ruler. There is also this one guy in the Swiss band who also has the blood of Karling, but obviously he's not ruling any land either. So yeah, not so great there, considering they ruled pretty much all of Europe in the previous start dates. Going back to the Norse bloodlines for a moment, in Norway we of course have the blood of Haraldr Fairhair. They founded the Kingdom of Norway and they are still ruling over it. Continuing to the east, we of course have the Rurikids. They are doing their thing in Russia. Aside from the King of Kievan Rus, there are a million Rurikids. There are a lot of them. Just Rurikids everywhere. Next to them we have Hungary, where of course we have the blood of Arpad, and with that the blood of Attila. Aside from Hungary, the blood of Attila can also be found in the Kagan of Bulgar as before. On the other side of the Black Sea here, going to Georgia, we have the blood of Bagrat. Aside from Georgia, it's also found in a few Armenians, though note worthy. The current strategos of Armenia is of the Pahlavi family, not the Bagratianis, and that means that he has the Parthian blood. Sadly, he is the last remaining ruler with the Parthian blood, and as this is of course the branch started by a Zoroastrian, that means that they're not getting all that much out of it. Continuing on with another Persian family, the Sassans are still over in Tabaristan, with the Babandids ruling over Tabaristan proper, and then there is this guy ruling over Alamut next to it. And interestingly, we have the Bey of Yazd with a third branch, and he's a bit more in central Persia. Going south, we have the Solomonid dynasty still in the Ethiopia area. However, they are not ruling Abyssinia anymore. We have a Zagwe here. We go back to the history of Abyssinia. We can go to the last Solomonid and check the bloodline and see that they are only in the county of Massawa. This is over on the northern shore. And well, apparently they are following the Carolingian hype train of ruling over only a single county. Not a example I'd follow, but to each their own. Going east, we have the Pala dynasty still ruling over the Bengal, and really nothing new there. Some border changes, but pretty much the same thing they've been doing all along. And in Tibet, we have the Songtsen Gampo blood still in Gugay and Utsang. Right now, the kingdom of Utsang is ruled by a queen, as you can see, whereas the kingdom of Gugay is ruled by a king. That means that this is a great time to reunite the two kingdoms. Considering they are of the same dynasty, they'll be happy to marry. The queen won't be upset about not having a matrilineal marriage. And it means that after a few decades we may see a kingdom of Gugay and Utsang ruling over a significant portion of Tibet, and that of course means they'll have an easy time reuniting the empire, since it'll be much more powerful than the rest of the realms in the region. Also note that there isn't really any sort of risk of a inbreeding issue, because, well, here we have the Gyalpo of Gugay and here are the Guillermo of Utsang, and well, their last common ancestor died quite a while ago, over 200 years back, so not an issue. Anyway, that's it for the dynasties that did make it from the previous start date, so let's get to the ones that didn't make it. Going south, in India, we have a big Chola over here, and they have the blood of Irasentira the Great. Now, this bloodline gives a Hindu opinion bonus and improved war elephants, as well as faster converting to Hinduism, so he's in a great spot to try to replace all the other religions in India with his Hindu religion and having everyone be happy about it. The War Elephant morale bonus, of course, helps in giving a tiny bit of extra damage to his enemies' troops, with his War Elephant stomping all over them. Now, do note that the Chola dynasty is also available in earlier start dates, but this is the first one in which they have a bloodline. As you can see, it was founded on the 1st of January 1040. Going all the way back to Europe, in Bohemia we have the Przemyślids, who were available to play in earlier start dates, but they only got their bloodline in this start date as well. This one was founded on the 28th of September 935, which is of course still after the Old Gods start date. Giving a Bohemian opinion bonus, this bloodline is of limited use at the start, because well, that basically just means this guy and his vassals and all the relevant vassals are of his own dynasty. So it's a pretty limited bonus. We have some Bohemians over in Hungary, however they are ruled over by a Hungarian. So yeah, it's really quite limited in size. Next to them, in Poland, we have the Piasts, who are also available in the Old God Star Date, though not in the Charlemagne Star Dates, and their bloodline is the blood of Boleslav the Brave, giving a brave opinion bonus in addition to the Polish opinion bonus, but otherwise pretty similar to the Premiership bloodline. At least for the Poles, they do have a little bit more land, so that also means there are more Polish rulers around that will like the members of the Piast dynasty more because of this bloodline, so it has a little bit more of an effect. Then another Slavic ruler that just got a bloodline, and in this case it really is just got a bloodline. We have Duke Zvonimir of Slavonia, who has the blood of Zvonimir himself. Apparently he got his bloodline the day he was born. Apparently he was just that impressive from birth. Anyway, he doesn't even get the combat bonus because he was apparently a peaceful ruler who rose to kingship through skilled diplomacy. Moral of the story, if you want to get a decent bloodline, you need to kill some people. His bloodline just gives a Croatian opinion bonus and the monthly prestige that most other bloodlines have as well. And then we will continue on in Ireland. The King Murchad of Mumu. His bloodline is the blood of Brian, the Irish king who managed to unify the warring leaders of Ireland and end the Viking occupation of the Isle, which of course makes the Irish like him more, gives him a personal combat skill, and it enables dynasty succession. So that is of course somewhat similar to what the blood of Niall gives, though they had a light infantry morale bonus instead of the Irish opinion bonus. And considering, as mentioned, the Irish do not actually have a light infantry retinue, getting this Irish opinion bonus might be more useful than the light infantry damage bonus, as even though your light infantry won't do as much, it will reduce the amount of plots on you, and also if your vassals don't like you, they won't give you as many troops, so you'll just have more troops in general. Do note that even though they got rid of the Viking occupation, they do have a Norwegian ruling over one of their counties. Going a bit further south, in Spain, in Valencia, we have some guy without a bloodline. But if we look at the character list and we search for Rodrigo de Vivar, we have the future ruler of Valencia, currently still unlanded with the blood of Elthid. Now, obviously, right now he is unlanded, so you can't start as him yet. He will be ruling in Valencia starting in 1094. His blood gives a bonus to both the armies and his own combat skill, so he's great at fighting, and he gives an Iberian opinion bonus, which should be noted is all Iberians except for the Andalusians, as they are in the Arabic group. Going east, we get to the big blobs of the Seljuks and the Ghaznavids. The Seljuks, of course, have the blood of Seljuk. This gives a Turkish opinion bonus, a Persian opinion bonus, and a strategist opinion bonus. Turkish makes sense as they are themselves Turkish. The Persian opinion bonus will help with ruling over their land, as they are in a significant part of Persia, and there are several Persian rulers still there. As for the strategist opinion bonus, it's a nice bit of flavor, though you're not going to have too many strategists around for this to have an effect on. Next to them, the Ghaznavids. They of course also have the Turkish opinion bonus, and instead of a strategist opinion bonus, their +5 got added to the opinion of the people they rule over, the Afghans. Unfortunately for them, there are no Afghan rulers, so this opinion bonus, it's not that significant really, because there are just non-Afghan people as actual characters, and an Afghan opinion bonus isn't going to make the populace like them more, it's just going to affect characters. So it's a little bit of a wasted plus 10. And interesting to note about both of these bloodlines is that if you have the Turkic Conqueror game rule enabled, they will appear by event with their bloodlines, and then the Seljuks can appear between 965 and 985 if set to historic, or between 809 and 1200 if set to random. As for the Ghaznavid, they can appear between 965 and 1010 if set to historic, or the same 809 and 1200 if set to random. Lastly, in Yemen, we get to our final little bloodline found at the start date, not in the ruler, but we will go through his family tree a little bit, and we find Arwa bint Ahmad, and she has the blood of Arwa. Interestingly, this gives a monthly piety bonus rather than the prestige bonus that most bloodlines have, and a Bedouin opinion bonus, which is of course the culture found in Arabia. Worth noting is that obviously she has no land right now, so you can't play as her in this start date, and since they are Shia Muslim, it'll be very hard to get her to inherit anything. But if you start in 1074, on the 10th of April, you will find her as the Sultana of Yemen. However, she is married to someone and only has 2 sons, and the person she is married to is the previous sultan, whom she has taken over from when he becomes incapable. And well, since he is incapable, it's going to be a bit hard for her to get any daughters. So if you want to continue the bloodline from the 1074 date, you are probably going to want to pick that seduction focus and hope you manage to get some daughters before it's too late. Otherwise, the bloodline is going to go extinct very quickly. Like with the Daura, if we go back to the bloodline, this is a matrilineal inheritance bloodline, so yeah, those sons are not going to do you any good. Speaking of the Daura, they are still here, but even with the same dynasty, but they have lost their bloodline, as well, it just turns out that having a matrilineal inheritance bloodline doesn't always work out that great. We have one guy in between, who, being a guy, did not continue the bloodline, and well, that was the end of the blood of Magajiva, and Bayayida, of course. Now, as for our hidden bloodline in this start date, the one that isn't there at the start but becomes available very quickly, as you might have guessed from the fact that I selected William the Bastard. If he wins his war, then he will get a bloodline, and that is of course the blood of William the Conqueror, as he is now known as. This bloodline gives a Norman and English opinion bonus, Norman of course being his own culture, and English being the culture that arises when Normans rule over Anglo-Saxon lands, as is now the case in England. Aside from that, he gets a bastard and a legitimized bastard opinion bonus, as he himself is a legitimized bastard. And lastly, it gives you the option to legitimize bastards for free. This means you will not pay the piety cost normally associated with legitimizing bastards. However, do keep in mind that your wife will still be upset about it, so if you make her your spy master, you probably still wouldn't want to legitimize too many bastards. If you want to start as William the Conqueror with this bloodline, keep in mind that he only gets the bloodline in the 25th of December 1066, even though he does become King of England earlier than that if you browse through the possible days to start in. If you however, just go by the bookmarks, then he will have the bloodline as the first next bookmark is on the 26th of December 1066, so one day after he gets this bloodline. And that sums it up for all of the historical bloodlines in 1066. For our next video, we are of course not going to look at the second possible day that we can start on, because that would just be the 16th of September, and then I'd have to make a video about the 17th of September, and that would be very pointless because you're just going to see the same plotlines for most of those days. Also, doing that for every day from now until 1337 is going to be a lot of videos, and that's a lot of pointless videos. So instead, what we'll be doing is we'll be looking in the next video at all the bloodlines that go extinct before 1337, and then in the final 5th video of this series we'll be looking at the bloodlines that do make it to 1337. Until then, take care and have fun.